All right, everybody, welcome back to our analysis of mother and daughter. When we left off, Yoli had left the dance because her dress was ruined. She ran home crying. And we're going to pick up here in paragraph 30. So when she got back home, her mother was on the couch eating cookies and watching TV. So she has obviously no clue that anything is wrong. She asks her how the dance was, says, "Come watch the show with me." But Yoli stomped head down to her bedroom. She undressed and threw the dress on the floor. So stomped is, think to yourselves, I know you can't answer me, this is sad, I miss having real class, guys, but think to yourselves what kind of emotions usually go with the word stomped. How do you feel when you're stomping? To me, that usually seems like an angry thing. So Yoli has gone from being sad and disappointed, although she probably still is sad and disappointed. You know how that goes when you're sad and disappointed about something, so you end up just being angry about it instead. Being sad and disappointed only to being angry. And who is she possibly angry at, do you think? I would suggest she's probably angry at her mom, or she's choosing to be angry at her mom. Oops. Choosing to be angry at her mom because her mom is the one who suggested dyeing the dress in the first place, right? So her mom comes into the room and she's asking, "What's going on? What's wrong?" And Yoli just yells about how the dress is cheap and it's no good, and Mrs. Moreno doesn't see what's wrong with it at first. But in paragraph 35, when she finally realizes what's going on, we get a little bit of Mrs. Moreno's inner thoughts. Poor baby, she thought, her brow darkening as she made a sad face. Oops. So I'm going to actually just highlight this ending part here. But Mrs. Moreno doesn't want this to be happening. She is genuinely sorry. Moreno feels bad for, / you could say pities, her daughter and what she's dealing with. This is not fun, and Mrs. Moreno doesn't want her daughter to have to deal with this. Say it this way. It says in paragraph 36, she wanted to tell her daughter how sorry she was, but she knew it wouldn't help. She walked back to the living room and cried. So we're going to highlight this. I'm actually going to highlight this whole section. Again, when you don't have to do your annotations exactly like me, you can do it however you want. But this is how I'm going to make mine look. I'm going to underline this part right here and put a little note here. She leaves her daughter alone. She leaves Yoli alone and goes to cry, be sad about this, where Yoli can't see. She wants to make it better. It says she wanted to tell her daughter. She wanted to fix this situation, but she can't help it. She can't. It won't help. She can't fix the situation. It's to help / make the situation better, but she just can't fix it. So then we're going to keep moving on. The next morning, they stay away from each other. They're avoiding each other. Yoli's in her room reading a magazine. That's what 17 is, it's a magazine. Her mother waters her plants, and then she talks to her plants, which is kind of funny, loud enough for Yoli to hear. She says, "Drink, my children. Water is all you need. My daughter needs no clothes, but I don't have no money." So she feels bad in this paragraph that she cannot provide what her daughter needs. She can't provide Yoli with the things she needs / wants. But Yoli overhears this, and then it says she tossed her 17 on her bed. She was embarrassed at last night's tirade. A tirade is like a rant, like when you go off on an angry rant. The definition actually says a long, angry speech of criticism or accusation. So, just so everybody can see that. It says, it wasn't her mother's fault that they were poor. So we're, again, going to mark this little section of the text. Yoli feels bad, bad about being angry with her mother over the dress. Realizes it's not actually her fault. Then, let's see, in paragraph 40, this again shows what it mentioned in the beginning. They have a good relationship. When they sat down together for lunch, they felt awkward about the night before, but Mrs. Moreno made a fresh stack of tortillas and cooked up a pan of chile verde, and that broke the ice. So, they felt awkward about the night before. This is showing us that while they had this conflict, they had this argument, and now it's making things a little bit awkward. They moved past the argument, and they still have a good relationship with each other. Kind of like how it mentioned at the beginning, how they get along so well. So we're going to keep going right along to the next stopping point. They talk about how they need to find a way to make money. Mrs. Moreno brings up a family that had an invention and they got rich and moved away. They think maybe we could come up with an invention, or get a good job here to make some extra money so that Yoli can get an education. Yoli doesn't really like the idea because she's still trying to impress Ernie. Then the phone rings and Yoli runs to answer it thinking it would be her friend Janice, but it's actually Ernie wondering why she left the dance. And when he finds out she's not mad, he asks her to go to a movie. So this is cool and fun. She asks her mom, or she pretends to ask her mom, but you know, that's fine. Says they're going to go to a movie, and then after Yoli hung up, this is paragraph 47, this is going to be, 47 and 48 are going to be our last stopping point for this story. It says, after Yoli hung up, her mother climbed, grunting, onto a chair to reach the top shelf in the hall closet. She wondered why she hadn't done it earlier. She reached behind a stack of towels and pushed her chubby hand into the cigar box where she kept her secret stash of money. I've been saving a little money every month, said Mrs. Moreno, for you, mija. Her mother held up 5 20s, a blossom of green that smelled sweeter than flowers on that Saturday. They drove to Macy's and bought a blouse, shoes, and a skirt that would not bleed in the rain or any other kind of weather. So, we're going to start with this sentence right here. She kept her secret stash of money here. So this is a secret stash of money that she's kept back for Yoli. She's kept this aside, not spent it on other things that probably would have made their lives easier. She's making sacrifices to save this money for Yoli. We don't know what kinds of things she's saving it for, but you can imagine what she might possibly be saving it for. Maybe college, maybe a wedding, who knows? Something in the future. Possibly for college, for something else. But she has sacrificed to save this money so that her daughter can have the things she needs later in life. But they use it on something, instead of continuing to save it and put it aside against someday or a possibility, she pulls it out and uses it on something that Yoli wants / needs now, instead of keeping it stashed away for something unknown in the future, which can be important sometimes. So, quick summary overview of what we've read, since this was in 2 parts. We were taking notes the whole time on Yoli and her mother's interactions. So the first thing we noticed was that they like to play jokes on each other, and there may not always be 100% good-natured, but either way, they do have a good relationship. They enjoy doing things together. Mrs. Moreno wants Yoli to study hard and be a doctor, wants her to do well, and provides the things that she needs to do that. Mrs. Moreno talks all the time about her own past and her own difficulties, and Yoli knows how to avoid hearing those stories, so it's kind of a typical parent-child relationship, probably. Her mother really wants to provide nice things for her, but we know that she is poor and can't afford it. We know that the next thing we did was stop at paragraph 29 to talk about the tone and the way that the dye falling from her dress is kind of like a reflection of the way her evening was ruined and the way she's disappointed and sad about that. We also talked about how the storm also is kind of an image of that. Yoli is angry at her mother at first, we notice, but her mother is just disappointed and sad that this has had to happen and that she can't fix it for her daughter. Yoli then later is embarrassed and realizes that it's not her mom's fault that they were poor. Their relationship is still intact. It's a little bit awkward at first after the fight, but they pull it back together and they still have a good working relationship. And then we see Mrs. Moreno has made lots of sacrifices for Yoli to provide something for her in the future, but she decides to use it to get something for her now that she needs and wants. So I hope this helps you guys as you go to read this story on your own and answer the questions, and I hope you also actually enjoy it. I will talk to you all later. Have a good day.